Okay, so you've probably spent some time thinking about your core values, right? But what now? What's the next step? That's what this is all about. It's about taking that philosophy off the page and actually living it every single day.
So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. Do your actions really tell the same story as your words? Have you ever said one thing is super important to you, but then you look back at your week and, well, it tells a totally different story? That's the big question we're going to unpack right now. And really, this all boils down to one super powerful word: integrity. Now, most people think integrity just means being honest, and yeah, that's part of it. But it's so much more. It's when your words, your beliefs, and this is the big one, your actions are all in perfect sync. They're all singing the same song. This is our foundation.
So this leads us to this really common trap. I mean, pretty much everyone falls into it at some point. We're going to call it the value-action gap. Think of it like this big empty space between the person you say you want to be and the person your daily habits actually show you are.
Because let's be honest with ourselves for a second. A personal philosophy that just sits in a notebook or floats around in your head, it's pretty much useless. The real magic, the actual change, only kicks in when those values start steering the ship, when they're the ones making your choices and building your habits. Okay, so what's the big deal? What actually happens when we let that gap just sit there? Well, there's a real price to pay for this kind of misalignment, and believe me, it's a heavy one. And you see these gaps everywhere, right? In the most common everyday situations. Like we say, family is everything. But then our calendar is just packed with work, errands, anything but family time. Or we'll say, I'm all about personal growth. But the second a real challenge pops up, we kind of duck and cover. This is that value-action gap, staring us right in the face. And here's the thing you've got to understand. When your actions and your values are out of whack, it creates this constant, humming tension inside you. It's like a low-grade internal conflict that never really shuts off. Because deep down, some part of you knows you're not being true to yourself, and that just feels wrong. And don't brush this off as some small thing. Living like this, out of alignment, it's a direct path to some really tough stuff. We're talking deep regret down the line, a constant sense of confusion about who you even are, and that awful nagging feeling that you're just an actor in your own life, that you're being inauthentic.
All right, so that's the problem. It's a big one, but here's the good news. There is absolutely a way out. There's a clear path forward. So let's shift gears and talk about the solution. A simple, straightforward framework to pull everything back into alignment.
It really just comes down to 3 key steps. Think of them as the 3 A's. First up is awareness. This is just noticing where the gaps are, without beating yourself up about it, just seeing it clearly. Then we have adjustment. This is where you get active. You start swapping out those misaligned habits for ones that actually support your values. And finally, accountability. This is your daily gut check. Just a simple, honest question you ask yourself every night. Hey, did I live by my philosophy today? So that framework is our roadmap, right? But now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you actually make this a part of your daily life? What are the actual habits you can build to stay on track? Okay, here are a few really powerful places to start. You could try journaling. Just 5 minutes a day. Seriously, you'd be amazed at the patterns you'll spot between what you believe and what you did that day. Or you could set a tiny value-tied habit. If you value peace, maybe it's just 1 minute of silent gratitude. It can totally anchor your day. But maybe the toughest and honestly the most rewarding is learning to say no. Saying no to the things that pull you off course. Because every time you say no to something that doesn't align, you're really saying a big, powerful yes to yourself.
And listen, as you start doing this, please remember this one thing. This is all about consistency, not perfection. You are absolutely going to have off days. You're going to mess up. That's fine. The real goal is just to keep showing up. Those small, consistent efforts, they add up. They compound over time into a life you're actually proud of.
So you do all this work. What's the payoff? What does it actually feel like to live with integrity when your actions and values are finally on the same team?
Well, first off, and this is huge, you start to actually trust yourself. I mean, really trust yourself. When you prove to yourself day after day that you'll do what you say you'll do, you become your own most reliable person. Then, your life just starts to feel different. It feels authentic. It feels meaningful. Why? Because you're not just drifting anymore. You are actively, consciously choosing to live in a way that reflects what you truly believe.
But maybe the greatest prize of all is this. That inner conflict we talked about, that constant low-level static of unease, it just goes away. It's gone. And what replaces it is this incredible sense of peace, of wholeness. And that leaves us with one last really important question to chew on. We know our intentions, our values, and we know the actions we need to take. So what exactly is the bridge that gets us from one to the other? What connects our intention to our action? That's a great question, and one we'll dive into next time.